What's going on YouTube? It's Snoob Reviews here, and we're back to review another chapter of One Piece, Chapter 9, A Femme Fatale. And yeah, we're going to learn a little bit more about Nami today. So we get a cover page, and it's Zoro chilling on a cow. He's cleaning his blades, playing with the dandelion it looks, and yeah, either that or some kind of cleaning tool. But yeah, he's just messing around with his blades and chilling on this bowl. I like how he's got one set between its nose ring, kind of setting the bowl there. Got Luffy swinging in a tree in the background, but yeah, it's a nice little cover page. So we'll move on from that. Then, so we get our first real introduction of Nami. It's Nami the pirate robber is how they label her here as it stands now. And yeah, she's starting off where they left off on the chapter last time, and it's her asking Luffy he's interested in stealing treasure from pirates with her. She's like, we can make a fortune together, you know. She sees how strong he is and how powerful, and that, you know, with just his hands alone, he took out most of Buggy's henchmen, no problem, over just his hat. And Luffy just kind of like, not interested after he found out she robs pirates. So he's just like, you know, I don't want to team up with you. And she's like, wait, you know, she doesn't get why he's trying to run off. And, like, why'd you get mad when that guy touched your hat? Is it valuable? And so she thinks he has, like, treasure. There's some reason that hat's important to him, other than just being a hat. And, Luffy just says, you know, the hat itself is my treasure. And, like, what, do you have a jewel hidden inside it? You know, a treasure map? And if he's just done with it, you know, he's not interested. It's not going to be someone who's going to be part of his crew if she's just going to rob pirates. He's a pirate himself. He just sees trouble that way. So he just kind of tries to take off and leave her. Well, then we cut over to a tavern that's in Orange Town, and we get introduced to our first image of Buggy D Clown, and he's asking his crewmates if they'd caught the thief yet. And, you know, none of them had really been able to take care of catching Nami. Luffy just dealt with the henchmen who were set out recently. This seems like a group of them that were searching for and couldn't find her. And so Buggy's pissed. He's like, you know, this is inexcusable. He doesn't tolerate failure, apparently, in this crew line. And he's pissed because they took the map to the Grand Line. And Buggy's all ready to go to the Grand Line and start raising hell, as he puts it. And, they were just ready to take off before Nami came along and took the map. And so now they're scrambling to capture her so they can take off and go over the Red Line and into the Grand Line. And they kind of explain how Nami went about getting the map. And somehow she got the keys to the room that the map was being locked in. And one of the crewmates goes, and only the robber knows. And Buggy doesn't take that term nicely. He thinks he said rubber nose, and Buggy, you'll see, has a weird quirk where he does not tolerate any kind of jokes about his nose. The shit really pisses him off, and so he just starts throwing stuff. He's like, what rubber nose? And his crewmate's like, I said robber nose, you know. No matter how he says it, it sounds like rubber nose. And yeah, so Buggy starts attacking him, and he's cutthroat when it comes to his crew or people that make fun of his nose. You know, he'll toss any of them to the side. And yeah, Buggy's just like, does my nose look funny to you? Does it look like it's fake? And the crewmate's like, I made an honest mistake, man. And he's like, I meant the thief. And Buggy takes it even further. He's like, now you're saying it looks like steak? He's like, it looks like beef? And he's like, it's time for you to die. He's finished with him, you know. The crewmate's just like, I can't say anything without setting this dude off. And Buggy's just kind of like, who am I? And he has this little bit of intensity, something like Heath Ledger's Joker or something. Buggy can look pretty intimidating in these chapters. After, you know, he's kind of more of comic relief. He's not that villainous, but I love Buggy. Gotta love him. But yeah. So, we get to see full introduction, the full profile of Buggy for the first time here. And he's saying, you know, ready the cannons. He's gonna fire cannonball at his crewmate that, you know, he feels like's betrayed him or failed or is proved inadequate to be a part of his crew. And his crewmates start going off about, you know, he's using his devil fruit power. And we get to see what Buggy's devil fruit power is here in a moment. Kind of. He gives a little hint at it. Like I said earlier, it's I think the Bari Bari Nomi, and it's essentially the Chop Chop fruit. And we'll get into actually what that does later. But yeah, so his crewmates are saying he's using his power, and he picks up one of his crewmates into the air just by pointing at him right now. And he's like, you know, his crewmate's screaming, spare me. I tried my best. I wouldn't betray you. I wouldn't make fun of you, Buggy. You know, he's like, honestly, like, this is all an honest mistake. Buggy doesn't give a damn. Buggy's gonna send him off in a flashy way. You know, what more could that guy ask for? And he fires the cannon and blows that dude to smithereens. And Buggy's just tells his crew, he's like, get me the map and everything else that's of value in this town. Buggy has a massive fascination, which most pirates do, but with treasure in general, he views treasure as, you know, the only interest someone should have as being a pirate. The way to be a proper pirate is to collect the most booty you can. But yeah, and so, I almost forgot to talk, but here we get to see the two main members of Buggy's crew also, Moji and Kabaji, and their first mate and second mate, I believe, that are standing behind him, which is cool. I didn't pay attention to that the first time I read through, but yeah, get to see his whole crew line up. Anyways, so yeah, Buggy wants his map back, and his crew's like, aye, you know, they seen that, and that kicked them right in the gear. They're gonna go get Nami and get the map back. So it takes us back over to Luffy and Nami, who are talking, and Nami's finding out that Luffy lost his crew at sea, and she's kind of like, how big's your crew? Luffy just ignores it, like, he just is like, you know, one other guy. Then just cuts over, is this your house? And she's like, no, my work keeps me moving, you know. She talks about working for someone or something else, you know, and she's like, I don't know whose house this is. That the town is practically just deserted because of Buggy being here. They've been bombing the city repeatedly, and they've got so many of the townsfolk just in fear that, you know, they've kind of evacuated. And everyone's staying as far away from the tavern as possible because Buggy's there. So they're all on the outskirts right now. And so Luffy, typical Luffy, he's like always half paying attention. He gets the gist of the story, but he just may not know who's who. And so he's like, and Nami and his men really are that scary? And Nami's all like, God damn it, were you even listening? She's like, I'm Nami. She's like, Buggy's the pirate. And she's like, don't mix me up with him. Nami really, really despises pirates. And we get to see that more and more as this whole interaction goes on. But yeah, it's awesome. Luffy just constantly pisses her off by his like harebrained thoughts. You know, he's just kind of like all over the place. But apparently Nami gives us a little backstory on kind of how vicious Buggy is. She says, you know, there was a kid in the village who made fun of his nose, and he blew the whole town down. He just blew it up, you know, just to prove a point that he doesn't like people joking about this thing here. And she also talks about how he has some mysterious power, which we know this is a devil fruit again. But most people in the East Blue aren't privy to what devil fruits are yet. So yeah, Luffy just kind of, you know, fades out again. He's just looking over to the right, you know. I was wondering why there was no one around here. And she's like, I told you everybody ran away because they're scared of Buggy. Still not listening, really. It's so Luffy's like, oh, so you're looting these abandoned houses, and then Nami gets even more pissed because again she clarifies distinctly that she only robs pirates. She's like, I don't rob villagers, you know, that irritates her. She doesn't like the idea that she's considered some common crook, which to a degree, Nami, later on you kind of are just a common crook or a blackmailer or, you know, someone who's after money by any means possible. But hey, Nami loves money, and she goes on to tell us that. She's like, I've got to get 100 million berries, and then I'm going to buy a certain village. So she's planning on saving up all the money she's got from robbing pirates and tricking them, and she's gonna buy this whole island. She's gonna buy a certain village on this island. And so we get a little bit of insight into what Nami's goals and aspirations are here. One, she wants to buy this island. And then she also has stolen Buggy's Grand Line map, and she's going to head for the Grand Line, which she has a big fascination with stealing treasure from pirates there. I think she's stating that she's planning to do this after she buys the village, but then she wants to go through the Grand Line and rob pirates again because she hates pirates and she loves money and she loves the ocean. And so she goes back to asking Luffy again, so what would you say, teaming up with me? We can make a fortune. She wants to use a tough guy like him, and she says she'll split 50-50, which, God, that's gracious coming from Nami. I think once she's actually a part of the crew, she shares very little to 10% maybe with each of the crewmates. And not even considering like what her cut is. She definitely has the best interest of the crew and the ship in mind, but she also loves money. Doesn't like spending it. So actually, going back through just a little more, so Nami's actually planning on using the map to go to the Grand Line just to steal treasure to pay for the island, because they talk about how unfathomable of a number it is to get 100 million berries, which really later it's not. I would almost rather she wanted to do that after. Fits in with her character to me. But Oda was still early on writing this. Because, yeah, once she got in the Grand Line, it would be hard for her to get back out. You can't really go back up Reverse Mountain, and there's calm belts all around you. So unless she's a damn good paddler and can fight off Sea Kings, she probably couldn't do that. But anyways, yeah, so her plan is to get the map to go to the Grand Line, and actually, after she steals all the treasure from Buggy, enter the Grand Line, and from there, take more treasure and go back and buy the island finally. And then, yeah, she's asking Luffy to join her crew and all that jazz. Luffy asks her, do you have any navigating skills? And she's like, oh, yeah, of course, I'm the best navigator around. Which, always awesome how they just fall in Luffy's lap. Just the right people Luffy needs. The best, navigator, the best swordsman, the best sniper. But hey, he's going to be Pirate King. It was destined to be. It's not that I think Luffy's a star-crossed winner. I think it's just a matter of Luffy knows how to read people and find people he thinks he can bring out the best traits in. But yeah, Nami is a damn good navigator, and we learn about that as the story progresses. And she's a huge fan of the sea. And we've already seen a little of how good she is at navigating by her ability to read the weather while sailing. She used it earlier to trick Buggy's crewmates and steal their ship. So they start getting really excited about this because, they're both looking for like each other, essentially. She needs Luffy's strength and brawn, and Luffy needs her to help them go to the Grand Line. And Luffy wants to go to the Grand Line. And he's all like, yes, we both have common interests. And so Nami's like, really, he's like, yeah, you could be our navigator and join our crew. And he's like, join our pirate crew. And Nami is just like, no way. She gets all pissed. Nami hates pirates, okay? She has definitely had bad crossings with pirates, and we'll learn about more of that as the chapters progress. But she starts going on about she didn't know he was a pirate and that she would never even want to team up with him now. So she's completely flipped. And she's like, I get you're after some, big treasure in the Grand Line and you keep your map under your hat. She starts accusing this hat thing again. She doesn't believe his hat's just the only thing that he views as the treasure. She's really fixated on the idea that he's hiding something there because she doesn't trust any pirate, Why would they tell her he's keeping a jewel or something in there? But no, it's just the hat. And so Luffy kind of just explains, he's like, I treasured this hat because my friend gave it to me a long time ago. It's like, that's when I swore I'd gather a crew and become a pirate. So he tells her a little about Shanks, how he wants to become a great pirate for a certain person. He doesn't tell her it's Shanks, but yeah. So she's just, all annoyed. She's like, goddamn pirates. She's like, there's one thing in this world I really hate. It's pirates. But I love money and tangerines. So Nami is a huge fan of money. Massive fan. Literally 90% of the stuff that the Straw Hats get involved in, or the reason Nami is interested in like putting herself at risk is money guaranteed. There's very few times, you know, there's people that, you know, Nami wants to help and she's a nice person. She is a nice person, but generally she's money driven. And then she loves tangerines, and tangerines is kind of just a little cliff note leading to a later arc. So we'll get into the tangerines later, but she's a big fan of those too. And so she starts just kind of hating on Luffy. She's like, this guy's stupid. He's a plunderer. You know, he's just a pirate. And all he wants to do is just steal from people. And, you know, she really doesn't know anything about Luffy at this point. But her views on pirates are probably accurate, especially considering most of the pirates she's ran into. Buggy is definitely the definition of that person. So Luffy just bullheaded as always. So how about it? You want to join my navigator crew? It's like, I told you, forget about it. You know, good pirate. Then Nami gets an idea. She thinks she can take advantage of him. She's like, I may not want to be a pirate, but I can use him to my advantage. She's already used him as a scapegoat, so she tells him that she'll become his navigator on one condition, and it's that they have to go see Buggy together. And Luffy's like, oh, easy. Okay, let's go. Where's Buggy? And Nami's kind of like not even ready for this, her little plan. She's like, hold on, I gotta get ready. And so she grabs a rope and she's following Luffy, and Luffy's like, and so she grabs a rope and she's following Luffy, and Luffy's like, what's the rope for? Like, you know, I always carry rope. And Luffy's like, alright, your thing. And so they keep walking, and Luffy's like, where's this at? And she's like, it's just the tavern where the pirates hang out at the end of the street, you know? And then as they're walking, she busts out the rope and ties Luffy up real quick. And she's like, when we get there, Mr. Pirate Breeches, what are you gonna do? Like, she's screwing Luffy. Like, she's just gonna sell him off as, you know, the person who stole the map, and try and walk away scot-clean. Then rob Buggy after he's trusted her. And so they're still after her. They don't know any of this yet. And so Buggy's all pissed after the other group of guys get back. He's like, what? You let the little thief get away. He's like, 3 of you couldn't stop her. And then they're just like, you know, there was this guy with the straw hat, you know, he was really strong. We couldn't even take him on, and all he was using is bare fists. And Buggy don't even want to hear that. Buggy's just like, starts screaming, you know, it's time for you guys to die. And then one of his crewmates interrupts and lets us know that, you know, Nami's here. She just walked in the door. And Buggy's like, what? He's just kind of like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, whatever, bring her in. And she comes in and throws Luffy on the floor, and she's like, Captain Buggy, I've captured your thief, you know, and here's your map. So she returns everything back to Buggy. This leaves Buggy kind of just like, going on here, you know. First you steal from me, run away, and now you come back to me with your boss and the map. And so Luffy's on the ground just pissed. He's like, you tricked me. Nami's like, I had a dispute with the employer. So she's saying, you know, her and Luffy aren't getting along anymore. She thinks he's an idiot and that she'd rather be a part of Buggy's crew. And Buggy's just kind of sitting there like just dumbstruck by this, like the oddity of this situation. And I love this panel of Buggy. Again, they do some great features with Buggy. Oda really has fun drawing him, it seems like. And Buggy's game, you know, he's just kind of like, well, why the hell not? You know, whatever. You brought the real culprit in. You've got spunk to come back to me. I mean, the ball's on you. That's flashy enough to be a part of my crew. And Nami's like, infiltration's done. Like, all she has to do is get the map back again, and then get the treasure and bail out. And Luffy's just sitting there, you know, forget about me letting you join the crew. He's still holding on this. He thinks she has some unknown desire that she wants to be a part of his crew. So he's all gruff and pissed, and I'm sure hungry. And it cuts over to outside Buggy's ship, and someone says, this is it, Master Zolo. And so it's Buggy's crewmates that had hopped on ship and tried to strong arm Zoro into giving him the ship. And Zoro's just like, it looks like a ghost town here. Where are all the people? And they start saying, you know, Buggy's kind of the reason everyone's gone. We've taken over the town. And they're like talking about how they have to tell Buggy that it's the girl's fault that they didn't come back with any treasure, that they've gotten ripped off. And it's funny because they're already dealing with Nami, so these guys are already in for a mess when they come in. Buggy's gonna be pissed. And then we get to see Zoro, and he's like, take me to Buggy. I'm sure he probably knows where Luffy is. Because already Zoro knows Luffy looks for trouble as soon as he lands on a damn island. Or if he doesn't look for trouble, trouble finds him. Literally, every island they land on, it's never a smooth sail. Maybe Alabasta. Alabasta wasn't too bad when they first landed. They didn't really run into issues until they started really traveling on the island. So that's the only one I would say. Pretty much Luffy finds trouble instantly. And yeah, this was a quicker little chapter. It was just, it was about, I think, 18 pages, but mostly it's just covering how Nami and Luffy are interacting and kind of developing some of the ideas for Nami's character, how she dislikes pirates and how much Luffy's probably going to try and get her to join the crew. And it's pretty much Luffy just persuading Nami that, you know, I'm a different kind of pirate. It's not that Luffy outright does that. He just, you know, his actions speak louder than his words. If Luffy tried to explain all this, he'd come off sounding more like he's lying to her, trying to trick her, convince her, rather than, you know, that's just not Luffy's style. He speaks by who he is as a person. But yeah, we'll see some more of this getting into it. We're just at the start of this arc, and there's probably about 7 chapters, I think, more, 7 or 8. But it's mostly, this whole volume is pretty much all Buggy stuff, and then we get to go to Surf Village. So yeah, Nami introduction. We get to learn actually a bit more about her. Zoro's landed on the island officially, and Luffy is captured. And we got to see Buggy and his flashy style, as Buggy D Clown always has. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you checking out and hanging out. This is Snoob Reviews, another chapter of One Piece down, chapter 9, Femme Fatale. Appreciate it.